Hello and welcome to the weather update. It is February 11th, 2019, and it is around 1:30, or a little after 1 o'clock actually, but by the time this is up, it'll be later than that. But anyway, we got to talk about this storm that's heading our way that will bring some snow to parts of our area, and we'll first look at the briefing. First of all, you can see that there is a winter weather advisory in effect for the North Shore and New York City, as well as most everywhere else but the southern part of Nassau, southern part of Suffolk, and the East End. So we'll take a look at the latest briefing from the Weather Service, and we'll see. Oh yeah, look at that image there. Well, we're not getting that. Anyway, so we have here's the hazard. So we have heavy snow for parts of our area here, 4 to 7 inches snow and sleet. And this is for north and west of the city. So north and west of the city, it's going to be bad. Orange County and western Passaic County. And the timing will be late Monday night through Tuesday afternoon. Precipitation will transition over to a wintry mix by late afternoon. And for New York City, northeast New Jersey, lower Hudson Valley, southern Connecticut, and the North Shore of Long Island, snow and sleet accumulations of 2 to 4 inches. And that'll be late Monday night through Tuesday afternoon. It will transition over to rain at the coast by late afternoon, with a gradual transition through the night across the interior. And then we have the freezing rain risk. This again could be inland. Ice accumulation 10 to a quarter of an inch inland with a few hundredths elsewhere. Could cause some localized power outages. And again, this is in the interior, Tuesday afternoon through Tuesday evening. And then comes the heavy rain. So 1 to 1.5 inches, locally 2 inches, minor flooding of urban areas, low-lying roads, and small streams and creeks. And this is the entire region. And that's late Tuesday afternoon through Tuesday night. So the snow, the greatest impacts are going to be Orange County and western Passaic County. Regular snow elevated for part of the North Shore, New York City, lower Hudson Valley, and elsewhere. And freezing rain, that's an elevated risk inland. And the heavy rain, that's a limited risk, but it does encompass the entire tri-state region. So look at their forecast maps. You could see the South Shore only getting like a couple of inches. North Shore could be up more like 4 inches. But the heavier amounts are restricted inland. Ice, we really don't have to worry about on Long Island. And the rain, that could be everywhere. And after that, after all this, we get an inch plus of rainfall. So that's what makes this a messy, messy storm. It's not going to be fun traveling out tomorrow in this at all whatsoever. So let's go and look at the models, and let's take a look and see what the storm is going to bring us, and then we're going to talk about the long range. But first, we got to get into this storm here. We have this storm system that's passed to the south of us right now. That's affecting New Jersey, and I'm curious to see if how much snow they've gotten in New Jersey. I'm going to check on that in a minute. But the next system comes, and you can see starts off as snow and then changes to rain relatively quickly with heavy rain overnight. And this is the GFS model. So we're going to take a look and see what the snowfall total. Well, first start off with the total accumulated precip, and then we go to the total snowfall. So the total precipitation from this event is going to be over an inch. When we look at the total precip, and possibly 2 inches in parts of New Jersey, according to the GFS. Now, if we go and we look at the total snowfall, you will see that it actually does generate. It's very hard to see on Long Island, but it actually generates up to 6 inches on the North Shore, but much less over New Jersey, only 3 inches. So it's possible the cold air could hang on the North Shore. But again, you can see the resolution is so low. There's like a couple of dots for Long Island. This is why I don't like using the GFS, because the resolution is so low. So let's switch over to the NAM model and take a look at that. And yeah, the NAM has the North Shore getting the North Shore may wind up getting hit hard before it changes over. 6 inches perhaps on the North Shore. South Shore only like 3 inches. All right. This is a little more gives a little more for New Jersey as well. Gives up 4 or 5 inches of snow. Now, you know the NAM has a tendency to be a little on the high side, but I think that some of these amounts could actually wind up being possible. So let's take a look and see what the output has here for the radar. Ooh, I do apologize. Anyway, so it starts. NAM's a little slower. It starts Tuesday morning, and you can see it doesn't really. I don't know why it's putting out such high amounts, because it doesn't really have the snow around for that long. But what it does have is a lot of sleet. So we may wind up getting a lot of sleet on Long Island. That's what I'm thinking. And you know, that sleet can accumulate too, and that will be occurring throughout probably the afternoon. Probably won't be until the late afternoon that we see the change over to rain now, and then we have the heavy rain, and it could be like of a showery variety there. Probably won't be steady, but it'll be showery on and off, and then that pulls out, and then behind it we'll have plenty of clouds, it looks like. Even though I don't have it on, I could kind of tell by looking at the instability here. So let's take a look at the total accumulated precip on the NAM, and again, NAM gives us between 1 and 2 inches of liquid equivalent precipitation. So like I said, this is going to storm. It's going to do everything for us on Long Island, but it won't be that big of a snowstorm. It's just going to be a mess, a gloppy, disgusting mess that we have to deal with. Let's take a look at the HRRR. That should go far enough out. All right, we'll have to look at the 16Z run. All right, so does this go far enough out? No, it doesn't. I can't use that. Keep remembering that one doesn't go far enough out. Let's about the HDRPS. This one should go far enough out. So this is the total accumulated precip from the HDRPS, and you can see again similar amounts. 1 to I would say 1 to 2 inches of liquid equivalent. Let's take a look and see what it gives us for the total snowfall. Not much at all. So the HDRPS does not want to give us much of anything. So again, we're going to have to see how the storm evolves and how it starts. I'll probably have to do another weather update later tonight or tomorrow morning regarding this storm, because things could change. This model obviously is completely different with the precipitation. You can see it barely has any snow over us at all, and it pretty much quickly changes it to rain. Whereas the NAM and the GFS are a little different. Look at the RGEM, and we'll see how that plays out. So the RGEM has a little more snow over us, but not really. I mean, it has the heaviest precipitation falling as rain, and really heavy rain on this model too for Wednesday night. So it's interesting to see that the models, you know, have the rain grouping all differently. However, I do prefer the NAM because it just has a better track record. Let's take a look to see what the total snowfall on this one is. Yeah, only 1 inch. And total snowfall, let's see. Oh yeah, we already did that. I want to look at the total accumulated precip. Yeah, it has again similar amounts of 1 to 2 inches total accumulated precip. So yeah, so this is what we're dealing with the storm. So I do think it's just gonna be a mess. It's just gonna be a mess. You know, it's not gonna be pretty. It's just gonna be a mess. All right, so let's shift gears, and let's take a look at the longer range and when we're going to possibly get some clear skies, because it doesn't really. Oh, yeah, that's right. I almost forgot. I wanted to see if we could get some accumulation numbers for Jersey, and let's see if they even have that available. But we'll see if they do. I'll have to go to public information statements, and we're going to have to look and see if they did issue one for the snowfall totals for this event that we just had. So let's see if they do, and they do. All right, so go over New Jersey here. Atlantic County, Atlantic City Airport got 3 inches of snow. No huge amounts. Burlington County 2 inches, but yeah, the Pine Barrens got a couple inches of snow in New Jersey. so I'm sure it looks pretty. Ocean County, Manahawkin 3 inches, Whiting 1.5. So they got a little bit of snow there in the Pine Barrens, and I really did want to look at that. Anyway, we got to talk about the crappy pattern that we're in here, all right? Because unfortunately for clear skies, it doesn't look very good. You can see here, when you're looking at this text guidance, that you have mostly overcast skies every single day right through the weekend. The only day that we might see some sun is Thursday, which is Valentine's Day. So I guess that'll be good, I guess. Anyway, we'll shift over here to this and look at the GFS. And you see here, we're stuck in the clouds. Wednesday, stuck in the clouds. Thursday, we try to clear it out. But I don't know if it's going to be a clear day. Look at what happens. Still tons of cloudiness around. That may be the best we're going to get, because after that, stuck in the clouds all through, almost all through. We have to wait till February 20th before we get out of it, I think. And then maybe we could finally get a clear day. And then just briefly, and then we're back. This is what happens under an El Nino pattern. You know, obviously climate change fuels this, but this is what happens when you have El Nino. It's just the winter is awful. You know, just awful for the skies. I remember winter like this, actually. I don't remember what year it was, but we had a lot of cloudy days. It was like 10 years ago or something like that. It was a while ago, but I remember it, and that's what it kind of reminds me of. And you can take a look at all the clouds too, because we're going to look at the satellite here. Let me make this a little larger so you can see this better. And you can see the whole country is almost covered in clouds. The whole east part of the country is covered in clouds, except for Florida, which has some usual pop-up clouds due to the tropical nature, and of course the Southwest. Flagstaff once again getting lucky with clear weather once again. That's the place to be, lately. Yeah, so that's what you have going on with that. And I do want to look at one other thing here. I'm going to actually go to Arizona and see what their skies look like. This is just text output, but I want to look at it and see what it's going to be. And like I said, if I had the money, I would definitely go traveling out to Flagstaff until this pattern changes. Yeah, they're not gonna have that many clear days either, but they're gonna have a few more than we are. Tomorrow's gonna be clear, and it looks like Monday will be clear. But yeah, that's that's what we're stuck in, unfortunately. And the thing is that we are all right. We'll take a look at the longer range. We'll go to the CONUS, and we will take a look at the temperatures, because there really isn't much cold air that's going to be coming our way. Now, oh yeah, you can see there is some there, but the problem is it won't get to us. So backing it up here, you can see here's the storm. Warm air surges in. That's where it changed to rain. And we're above normal Friday. We're above normal Saturday. Hanging on to maybe some normal temperatures on Sunday. Above normal in the east. Again, you can see the west is where the cold air wants to keep coming down in this area. So February 18th, next week, you can see the cold air is in the west, but look at the east. We're above normal, and it just kind of peters out by the time it gets to us. So and again, the way it comes another bit of cold air into the west. It's constantly into the west. It's not the east, and that's the problem we're dealing with right now. It's ridiculous, is what it is. It is ridiculous. I want to show you something else here in another view that I don't normally go over, and that is the northern hemisphere view of the temperatures. It's kind of hard to fit this all in here. I guess I could zoom it out. Yeah, I could do that. Make this a little smaller so you can see that. And I wanted to show you this because it'll show you that most of the northern hemisphere is above normal. Alright? The cold is only in a few select areas, the western United States, and that's pretty much it. I mean, not even in Europe. I mean, there's some cold here, but not that much. So it's very disturbing to see this, for sure. And I want to talk about the lack of sunlight and what I think it's doing to the trees too. That'll be the very last part of this weather update. So we're going to go and look at earthnullschool.net. Take a look at our ocean temperatures again, and you can see, yep, there's that tongue of above normal wet water still there off the east coast. And I think this tongue is what's deflecting the cold air that's trying to come down, because it's coming down to the west, but the minute it gets to the east, it kind of gets deflected away. And that's because of this really, really abnormal tongue of hot water. And if you look at the oceans as a whole, most of them are above normal. And this, again, is climate change. Yeah, El Nino is over here. You know, El Nino is the warming of the Pacific, right in this spot right here. And we have that going on, but we also have the oceans overall being very warm, and it's leading to some really strange weather anomalies across the whole planet. And we can take a look. Look, the oceans are warm. Look at all the warm oceans. There's a little patch of cool water there, but by and large, everything is above normal. They had this really strong storm in Hawaii too, that caused a lot of issues there too. Very not a tropical system, but a very strong. We have these constant big low pressure systems forming in the Pacific, and this is all due to El Nino because the water is warmer than normal, and that's what happens. It encourages this trough to set up in the west. That's where the cold air comes in, or it'll cause a zonal flow and not allow any cold air in the whole country. And of course, this is doing a number on the ice. So let's take a look at the ice and see here that we have very alarmingly low amounts of ice for wintertime. A lot of missing ice here, a lot of missing ice here. In the off Alaska, lots of missing ice, lots of missing ice. So it's very disturbing to see that. And then we look at the ice thickness also. A lot of the ice is thin. Look at all this thin ice here, especially in this area here. A lot of thin ice, and a lot of missing ice over here, thin ice over here too. Very disturbing, very disturbing. And this is all because we're in a climate emergency. And I just want to say that I think that I think the Green New Deal is something we need to do. I'm once again impressed with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. They call her AOC. Not only is she extremely beautiful, but she also is supporting this Green New Deal. She realizes that we are in a climate emergency, and this is the priority that we should be taking right now to avert disaster. We've got to do something to stop climate change, and I'm not going to go over the whole Green New Deal with you right now, but it involves radical changes to stop our carbon emissions, and they need to be done. All right, because we are heading toward a blue ocean event, possibly this year in the Arctic, and this weather patterns that we're in, you know, the lack of sustained cold. The clouds, all of this is all due to climate change. And we are in a climate emergency, and that should be the priority of the Congress in this country right now, is to do something about climate change. All right? And then in 2020, we got to get a president in there that's going to do something about climate change. This is an emergency. In this last part of the video, I want to talk about the lack of sunlight and the effect it might be having on the pine trees. This picture was taken last year of pitch pines in New Jersey in the Pine Barrens. You can see they look beautifully green in the middle of the winter, the way pitch pines are supposed to look. And then we go to this winter, and you can see they're not as green. There's some orange needles there. Could it be because they're not getting enough light? It seems like maybe the cloudy weather may be doing something to these pines, and they're not being able to be, you know, they're hurting a little bit. Could it be due to the warmth, the erratic temperatures, the lack of snowfall? And this was in Rocky Point the other day, and you can see the pines just not as green as they should be in the wintertime. And I think maybe it's just due to the lack of sunlight, because we're not getting enough sunlight due to all these cloudy days. These are evergreen trees. Trees need sunlight and carbon dioxide, and they're not getting the sunlight. So I'm concerned about this. These cloudy weather really does have an effect, I believe, on a lot of living things. And this is a big problem due to climate change. The increasing amount of cloudiness that we're having, particularly in the east, is not good for our trees. It's not good for our minds. And this is why we're in a climate emergency. So I'm going to keep talking about this. It's a shame that the corporate Democrats, Nancy Pelosi, who I do not care for, are trying to, they're actually not letting Alexandria, they just call her AOC, but they're not letting her basically put too much to get the Green Deal in the main part of the. They're trying to keep the Green Deal from happening. Because they're corporate Democrats. They're only looking after the corporations. Once again, this is the problem we have with these corporate people. And the last point that I want to make is a lot of conservatives are against the Green New Deal too, and they shouldn't be. All right? I'm, in a lot of ways, a conservative. All right? But part of that is conserving our planet and conserving our environment. And shouldn't you support conserving our planet? All right? By getting more people on mass transit, rebuilding the infrastructure, and getting rid of greenhouse gas emissions by 2030. To preserve our atmosphere. Not let alone preserve our wild places from development. As a conservative, shouldn't these people who call themselves conservatives support such ideals? I don't get it. That's why no one party represents everything the way I feel. But right now, I think Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has some of the best ideas when it comes to the environment, and people need to be listening to her right now, all right? Because she knows that we are in a climate emergency, all right? So, and I'm glad that somebody in Congress is speaking up about it. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching this weather update. Take care.